Now that I've got all the parts cut to size, I'll need to cut a rabbet in the backs to accept the back of the cabinet. I'll get started by setting the fence at 1/8 of an inch and raising the blade to 3/8 of an inch. Okay, I've reset the fence at 3/8 of an inch and I've lowered the blade to 1/4 of an inch. I'll now run the board through like this and that will complete the rabbet. I've taken a minute to figure out where I want to put the shelf, and that's about 10 inches from the bottom. I've marked lines, and now I'm going to measure in 1 3/4 on each side of the cabinet so everything is nice and even. And then I'll pre-drill and countersink holes. Now I'm ready to start building the cabinet, and I'm using wood glue, and I'll hold the shelf flush with the side and tack it in place with 1.5 inch nail. The nails hold the parts in position, and then for a stronger joint I'll use 1 5/8 screw. Notice I've got a piece of 1/4 inch plywood. I'm using that to prop the shelves up because remember the shelves are 1/4 inch smaller than the sides. So it just makes aligning the pieces a little easier. I just put the cabinet in place because there's a few things I needed to figure out. One, I wanted to make sure that I could get the chargers in here and also get the batteries in and out. I have to have a face frame that comes up on the cabinet a little bit that creates this kind of dive. And the reason for that is eventually I'm going to add a fence that I can attach a stop block to for my miter saw. And when I open the doors, I want to make sure that the doors will clear that fence. So now that I've figured everything out, I'll pull the cabinet out and start to build the face frame. I just cut the doors to size out of 3/4 inch birch plywood, and now I'm getting ready to attach the hinges, and I'll attach the doors to the cabinet. These are very simple hinges to use, and you can find these in any hardware store. First I'll measure up from the bottom of the door and put a mark at 1 1/4 inch, and then I'll do the same thing at the top of the door. Then I'll hold the hinge at the line and use a self-centering drill bit, this is also called a Vicks bit, and drill holes. These hinges are spring loaded, and I find it a little bit easier to align the doors by using a 25-pound plate to compress the hinge while I'm attaching the hinge to the cabinet. Even though I took the time to try to adjust the doors to have the perfect reveal, the gap closed up a little bit tighter than I would like. So I'm going to take the doors off the cabinet and back cut them towards the inside of the cabinet at 5 degrees. And that will keep the doors from hitting each other. But also, if I want to open up the reveal a little bit more, I can do that with 1 or 2 passes with the hand plane. Okay, well, as you can see, I've got all my hand tools back in the cabinet. I've hung the cabinet on the wall. I've got my new charging station cabinet. I'm really happy with this. I've got my drills and impact drivers in the cabinet. The chargers are down below. And this isn't as inconvenient as I thought it might be to reach in with the chargers and plug the batteries in. And it's just nice to have all of the cords and the chargers out of sight. So I think it's a great addition to the shop. I do think that I'll probably do something with this upper cabinet eventually. At the very least, I'll replace the doors so it matches this cabinet and the rest of the miter station. So I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. To keep up with projects on a daily basis, follow me on Instagram. For a behind-the-scenes look at projects and in-depth Q&As, visit my Patreon page. And for all of my art projects and art videos, check out my new channel, John Peters Art Channel. I'll have a link in the description.